Welcome to Central News for Tuesday, 6th of May. I'm Amy Forrest. In today's news, Tauranga City Councillors are going to be hearing public feedback this week on their proposals to reduce the city's debt in the formal annual plan submissions process. This year, the council received more than 770 submissions on the council's proposal to save money by reducing spending on services and to raise a stormwater levy through rates. Last year's annual plan received just 125 submissions. The 3 days of hearings began on Monday, with 26 people being heard from the more than 100 ratepayers wishing to speak in person to the councillors about the plan. The draft plan proposes cutting the city's spending by $27 million and debt by $14 million, in what councillors say is their response to a clear mandate to reduce the city's debt. This is the first annual plan by the current council, 70% of whom were elected last October. A broken jaw and 2 missing teeth could mark the end to a music career for any brass musician, but not 24-year-old Tauranga-born Joe Thomas. In 2009, Joe was brutally attacked while walking home from university. As a bass trombone player, the damage to his face posed a major problem. Joe was studying orchestral music at University of Victoria in Wellington at the time and playing in the Air Force Band. The attack forced him to take 6 months out from university and playing, and began a 3-year road to recovery, incorporating 9 operations to get his face remade. But Joe has come out on top, completing his Bachelor of Music, a postgraduate diploma in music, and a LTCL diploma from the prestigious Trinity College in London. He says his greatest achievement to date is being named New Zealand's champion bass trombonist and securing the bass trombonist role in the Notational Band of New Zealand. After 44 years, Waikato gynecology specialist Alistair Haslam is hanging up his white coat, but not before he was honoured with emeritus consultant status, a privilege only given to 6 Waikato hospital doctors to date, none of whom have worked in women's health. Dr. Haslam received the Emeritus Consultant Award last week in front of about 60 friends, family and colleagues at Waikato Hospital. Dr. Haslam describes his job over the past 4 decades delivering babies as challenging and interesting. Health Waikato Chief Operator Officer Jan Adams acknowledged and thanked his family as having put up with a lot of time away from their partner and father due to the call of duty. Masonic Park is undergoing a $150,000 makeover as Tauranga City Council attempts to rectify stormwater issues and better utilise the park's recreational ability. This week's diggers and temporary steel fences appeared as contractors began work on the 2-month project, removing the park's larger palm tree and grass verge in the process. Key works will see improvements made to the footpath surface and its width, flattening the grass area on the Wharf Street side of the park, and additional stormwater infrastructure installed. The stormwater infrastructure is seen to be helping managing the stormwater issues that exist on the northern boundary of the park. In sport, 2 Bay of Plenty women are making the region proud after finishing 1st and 2nd in the 50th Rotorua Marathon last weekend. Katikati women Sally Gibbs and Tauranga's Jess Ruth were 2 of the 4,600 runners to take part in the Rotorua Marathon on Saturday, with both women finishing the race in less than 3 hours. Starting at the Government Gardens, 50-year-old Sally is the overall female winner, completing the marathon in 2 hours and 45 minutes, while Jess finished in 2 hours and 48 minutes. Taking a look at the marine forecast now. With a gale warning in force and changing conditions for both Raglan and Tauranga, please check for the latest report on metservice.com. Now heading to Raglan, high tide is 1 minute past 4 in the afternoon. Over the hill to Tauranga now, high tide is 1:05 in the afternoon. Just ahead, the Waipa District Council. Join us after the break. Welcome to Central News on TV Central. A survey of councils nationwide indicates that Waipa District Council's planning team performs above the national average across a range of measures. Anne-Marie spoke with Mayor of Waipa District, Jim Malcrest, to find out about this and what the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge were really like.
Yes, well, we're really pleased. Those results are showing that councillors meeting its statutory obligations to actually process resource consents and planning applications within the time frame set by legislation. So from a council perspective, that's great news. I suppose the follow-on from that is, and one of the issues that I raised when I was on the campaign trail, is my desire to actually reduce the amount of regulations and controls we have on people. So yes, it was a good result, and now we move on to the next stage, I suppose, making it easier for people to operate within the district. What
would some of those rules and regulations be that you'd like to relinquish control of?
Oh, well, there's a huge number of rules and regulations, not only the district plan throughout the region. There's our own district plan, there's a Waikato regional plan, there's standards for subdivision consents in terms of engineering requirements, and they differ between each local body, and there needs to be a coordination of a lot of those regulations and bylaws and district plans. So somebody obviously operating in Waipa would be very similar to operating in the Waikato district or Otaronga district.
What do you think's contributed to the great results?
Oh, it's staff attitude here. I think it's a great place to work. Very positive support from council. So yes, it's attitude, I suppose.
And of course, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge recently visited the area. Tell me about that.
Yeah, well, it's fantastic for Waipa. We've actually one of the districts with a good solid growth performance anyway. But then receiving a visit from the Duke and Duchess, and fantastic that we have Cambridge within our district. The name association was obviously one of the swingers, plus the opening of the Avanti drone, so we were really fortunate. So in terms of the district, I was really blown away, I suppose, by the level of interest there was in the Duke and Duchess coming. We had a fantastic turnout in Cambridge, 17,000 people, which is about the population of Cambridge. So, but they were really easy to talk to, fantastic international publicity for the town and the district. How you actually measure that is a real challenge, I think, but if you were trying to buy that level of advertising, you just couldn't afford it.
Friday, 30th of May is Arbor Day, a day all about inspiring people to plant, nurture and celebrate trees. Hamilton Zoo has embraced this conservation philosophy and will be helping with a huge planting at Waiwhakariki Natural Heritage Park. Anne-Marie spoke with Hamilton Zoo Education Team Leader Ken Millwood to find out what else Hamilton Zoo will be doing to commemorate Arbor Day.
The thing we're doing is assisting on the day with our staff members, so the education team, our volunteers coming and assisting on the day and having some educational talks at the end.
Now, when people think of the Hamilton Zoo, they think of animals. Tell me about the link between the Hamilton Zoo and the Waiwhakariki Natural Heritage Park.
The fact that Waiwhakariki is right across the road from the zoo, ultimately the zoo is about animals, but we're about inspiring conservation action, and Waiwhakariki is a perfect example of that. In the future, hopefully we'll be able to reintroduce animals, native birds, reptiles into this area.
Tell me about that long-term plan.
The long-term plan is hopefully it'll be a self-sustaining habitat here, representing what it was like a long time ago. Once there's a predator-proof fence up, general public will be able to visit. You can imagine the trees in a few years' time above everyone's height. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic resource for the public.
What's the long-term vision for Waiwhakariki?
Ultimately, we could look at having kiwi here, tuatara. Native birds are already starting to come back to this area. The potential, I suppose, is out there. We've got lots of things we could look at.
It's right in the middle of 4 important Waikato ranges. You've got Mount Te Aroha, the Hakarumatas, you've got Mount Pirongia, and also Maungatautari. It's really right in the centre, isn't it?
It's absolutely fantastic. This is a resource. It's just absolutely amazing. When you think about what it's going to create, the fact that it's right on Hamilton doorstep, right in the middle of Hamilton, people get a chance to wander through all the different ecological habitats that will be recreated and reconstructed here.
Tell me about the plan for Arbor Day. How will it be run?
Arbor Day ultimately is about planting, so you have to enrol or register to make sure that you're coming along. Once all the planting's finished, we're going to have a variety of speakers that will talk about some of the educational aspects of this site. So people from NIWA, Landcare Research, Department of Conservation.
And what will you teach the students?
Ultimately, it's about enjoying this environment, what we can do to help this environment, type of things that are happening around in other communities, but just seeing the potential for this for Waiwhakareke.
How can teachers and students get involved?
Really important that you do register for the Arbor Day planting. If you are interested in the educational talks that will be happening after the planting, zoo.education@hcc.govt.nz.
To register for the Arbor Day education program, go to hamiltonzoo.co.nz. After the break, the upcoming field days. Welcome back. There are only 6 weeks till the field days are here again, and this year is promising to be bigger and better than ever. As always, there will be new innovations and the perennial favourites, the tractor pull and fencing competitions are back, and according to Field Days event executive Michael Hall, better than ever. Anne Murray headed along to Mystery Creek Event Centre to find out more.
That's right, yeah, they are always definitely well attended. The tractor pull competition is bigger than ever. We've got a new exhibitor challenge, which we'll see some of the companies on site actually going head to head. And we also have a return of the modified tractors. So these are pre-85 tractors, but they've got up to 600 horsepower motors bolted into them, and it's really exciting to watch. Down in the fencing area, we have a few competitions running. We've got the Golden Pliers, which is one of the oldest competitions we have, and these guys are incredibly talented and really technical fencers, and it's a really good watch. We also have a speed fencing competition, and we also have demonstrations so that the visitors can come along and learn how to build a fence and actually take that home and maybe fix the wife's fence for them.
These two competitions really draw the crowd, don't they? What makes them so popular?
I think the tractor pull really appeals to the petrol head in all of us. It's loud and it's in your face, and they're really grunty, and it's just a really good watch, and I think you can't really walk past it without going over and seeing what's going on. The fencing is really interesting, and there's a good range of activities going on over there. So you've got the Golden Pliers, the Silver Spades, which is actually a doubles competition, and then also the Silver Staples, which is a youth competition. And like I say, these guys are the best at what they do in New Zealand, if not the world. And it's really, I think the visitors find it incredibly interesting to see that level of talent, and it really showcases what New Zealand fencers can do. So they, like you say, definitely always well attended.
The Field Days number 8 Wire National Art Award brings a little bit of culture to the Field Days. Tell me about it.
It does. So that's another competition we have held in Hamilton City. And again, that's even bigger this year. The prize money for first place has doubled. So last year that was $4,000. It's now $8,000 for the best sculpture. And we've got a new head judge, Greer Twids, who's actually known as the godfather of sculpture in New Zealand. And he's got over 50 years experience with exhibitions. So he's an incredibly talented guy, and we're really excited to have him on board for the competition this year.
Now, you've got Josh Emmett, who's a celebrity chef and the Master Chef judge. He's going to be cooking at the Field Days. What will he be doing?
So he will be doing 3 live demonstrations a day in the Field Days in the Kitchen Theatre in Kiwi's Best Kitchen. So he's a Waikato born lad, and he's really passionate about Field Days. We had him here last year and he loved it, so we're really excited to have him back. The Kiwi's Best Kitchen has got a fully packed theatre timetable, so there'll be some of New Zealand's best primary produce showcased in that kitchen, and we also have the Good George Brewery, who are a local brewery here in Hamilton, running the a bar on site as well. So that'll be really good just to sit down and kick your feet up.
Field Days 2014 runs from 11th to 14th of June at Mystery Creek Event Centre. A local Waikato man is returning to his roots and bringing part of his London-based business with him. Commercial Director of Forest Forex, Jovan Pavlicevic, is bringing the international money transfer part of his business with him home to the Waikato. Anne-Marie spoke with him recently and asked what is the point of difference Forest Forex is offering as an alternative way to transfer money internationally.
A really good question, and I like the fact that you've used the word alternative, because up until now there has been no alternative. The banks have been the status quo for the longest time. They don't see it as an area to compete on. It's just a functional service that they offer. So they have no interest on making it more competitive or offering a better rate or a better service.
Why have you chosen Hamilton as the place to do this?
I think a lot of people have asked that question, and the automatic assumption I think a lot of times is, well, it should be somewhere like Auckland, for example. And I think that while Auckland might have its a glitzier shop window, if you like, you cannot discount the level of business that's actually being done in the Waikato. It's a great place to be. The Chiefs are coming up on their third season, hopefully, so that's pretty exciting.
Tell me how Forest Forex works.
Okay, so it's a very similar experience to your online banking experience, really. You can either jump on the phone, you can jump online, or you can jump on your phone and do it via our app, which makes it really straightforward, quite fast, and really easy for people to manage.
Is it safe?
Yeah, it is. So the technology that we're using to run all this already has 500,000 customers globally, and we are highly regulated in this space. It's not the sort of business that you can get into very easily. We are regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority, and we're also an ICAW member firm, so we carry a lot of qualifications.
Often we hear the words recession and GFC, doom and gloom thrown around. What's your take on the Waikato economy?
Really good question, and we have seen that firsthand with the brutality of some of those situations in Europe and in London. I think wherever you have financial services and those kinds of industries as your primary industries, the boom times can be fantastic, but the busts can be equally as exaggerated. And what about the Waikato? Well, it's famed for its agricultural engine, and there's a real backbone there. We're actually making things and producing things. So it's a great place to be, and it's a great time to be here. It's a great place to be doing business.
For more details on Forest Forex, go to forest-group.co.uk. After the break, Hamilton City Council celebrations. Join us then. If you have just joined us, welcome to Central News. As mentioned earlier in the show, Friday 30th of May is Arbor Day, and this year marks 10 years since the establishment of Waiwhakariki Natural Heritage Park and 150 years since the establishment of Hamilton City. So the Hamilton City Council have got big plans to celebrate. Anne-Marie spoke with Community Planting Coordinator Gerard Kelly to find out what they are doing.
We're going to be planting 30,000 trees on that day, native trees. They're all ecologically sourced, so we're going to, come out, hopefully have heaps of people coming and helping us and plant a massive amount of trees.
Now, Arbor Day's a community event. Tell me about the plans you've got for Friday the 30th of May.
Well, last year we had 1,500 volunteers and we planted 23,500 plants. So we're after twice that amount this year, because it would be quite cool to have just 10 plants for each person. Not big plants, and volunteers are really the thing that's making this park grow, really.
Do people need to register?
Well, we'd like people to register just because we're going to have a bit of a barbecue afterwards, and so we know how we're going with numbers. So if they could register at the parks, open spaces, customer services at Hamilton City Council, parks and open spaces. So if you can just ring 838 6622 and we'll take your details down. But yes, we would love people to register. If you forget and you end up turning up on the day, great, just bring a spade and a pair of gummies and come and help. But it would be good if we could get people to register so we kind of know how we're going for that target.
What's the significance of planting 150 young tōtara on Arbor Day?
Well, it is a 150-year celebration of Hamilton, and so we thought it would be a really neat way to commemorate that by planting 150 tōtara trees. And, they are the trees that used to cover this landscape, so it's kind of now in farm here, but the project is restoring it back to forest, so yeah, it'd be a good way to do that, plant 150 tōtara, have some people there, the mayor and some other people to plant those, and I think it's just a really neat historical celebration.
Is there a particular way a tree should be planted?
Yes, there is actually. We've got a bit of a short video on that, but yeah, there's definitely a bit of a system on how to plant. Firstly, I suppose, not burying the plant. They are living things, trees, and so really all we need to do is dig it just as deep as it is in the pot, so only about 100-150 millimetres, and really make the square as big as you can. That's the important thing. So we often say $10 hole for a $1 tree, so 10 times the size if you can. The bigger the better, and then not planting it too deep, and putting the soil back over, loosening the roots a little bit, but making sure that the tree's standing reasonably straight. We're not after perfect, getting out the old level. And then push the soil back in and firm that soil in. That's one of the important things too. Firm it in around the roots. Don't just pat it. Firm it in nice and what's we call heeling it in, but just use the front of your foot and push that soil back in, and that's it, job done. And 10 times doing that, well, it's probably take you about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, hopefully. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward. One of the other things too is bring a spade that's a planting spade. Last year we did have a few people with trowels, and they're a little bit good. They're good for gardening, but not for restoration planting. So a planting spade would be great.
To register for the Arbor Day planting, email Parks Open Space Customer Services at hcc.gov.nz or call Parks and Open Spaces on 07 838 6622. Now for our region's weather. Hamilton, you will have a few showers during the day, increasing to rain in the evening. Northerly breezes. Your expected high is 19 and an overnight low of 10. Paeroa, a few showers, then rain developing in the evening. Northerly breezes. Your expected high is 20 and an overnight low of 9. Matamata, the same for you, but your expected high is 18 and an overnight low of 10. Te Awamutu and Tokoroa expect fine spells with light winds. Te Awamutu, you have a high of 19 and a low of 10, with Tokoroa a high of 16 and a low of 10. Now to the Bay of Plenty, Tauranga fine spells, showers developing overnight, northwesterlies. Your expected high is 20 and an overnight low of 13. And Te Puke, the same for you, a fine day with an expected high of 18 and an overnight low of 12. That's Central News for today. Make sure you like us on Facebook and let us know if there's news or an event in your community. Thanks for joining me. I'm Amy Forrest. Ka kite anō.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.